I've just come in from work, and today I've got a slightly different day than normal because I've had my gas safe inspection on site. So in this video I thought I would give you all gory details on what to expect when you're having a gas safe inspection. So shall we get on with it then? Now, the first time you'll be aware that you're going to be having a gas safe inspection is you'll be receiving an email from Gas Safe, and in that email it will give you a time and a date when they will be coming out to see you. So you will need to arrange 2 jobs within 30 minutes of your office or home or wherever you're being met to be able to carry out work in those 2 premises. Now, can you cancel your gas safe inspection? Well, you don't really want to be cancelling your gas safe inspection, because if you do, then they could actually put sanctions on your business and suspend you from the gas safe register if they don't come out and see you. So it technically depends on whether you've been naughty or not. So if it's just a standard visit like mine is, so within every 5 years they have to come out and see you, then they will have a little bit of a leeway, but they give you 2 weeks notice. Well, they actually gave me 4 weeks notice for the visit, so it gives you enough time to be able to book something in. Now, what if you have to cancel the visit? Well, it's got to be really exceptional circumstances. Now, things like being on holiday at the time, you know, that could get you a change, being in hospital or something like that. But if you cancel 24 hours before your inspection, then you possibly will get sanctions and you won't be able to do gas work because they'll suspend you until you do have a visit. So try and keep the appointment. But if you can't keep the appointment, email them and explain your circumstances, and then hopefully they can come up with another inspection date for you. Now, technically there are 3 types of inspection. First one we're going to look at pretty damn quickly is the VIE, which is the Visual Inspection Event. Now, this is an online inspection carried out by specially trained inspectors, and you'll be mainly asking questions on the unsafe situations procedure. Now, there'll be a pre-assessment briefing, and then the questions they will ask you will all be done on the qualifications you hold. So boilers, cookers and fires, they will be asking you all the relevant safety questions on those subjects. Now, the on-site inspections. Now, there are 2 types of inspections. The first one is the probation inspection. So that basically means for you new entrants into the industry, or your first time in an inspection, or if you've left a company and started your own company up, you will require a probation inspection, which is pretty much the same as what I'm going to show you, what I went through, which is the standard gas safe inspection. Now, the slight difference with the probation one is if you've just qualified, the inspector will come out and see you within 3 months of you joining the gas safe registration. Now, if you have done no gas work in that time and you've been unable to secure a visit home for the inspector and yourself to go to, then the inspector will meet you at your premises and spend about 2.5 hours asking you a load of questions on what you are qualified for. So if you've just newly qualified and you've only got boilers, he'll spend 2.5 hours asking you about boilers. And then if you've got cookers and fires as well as boilers, then there'll be multiple questions on those different subjects. So my advice to you would be, if it's your probation inspection, find somewhere where you can take the inspector so you can carry out practical work. Because if you can't carry out the practical work on the first visit, you will stay on probation, and then the inspector then will want to see you on site before they will sign you off probation. So just bear that in mind. Now, what if you have multiple engineers? Well, basically, you can nominate any engineer who is on the register to take the inspection, but if GasSafe actually asks to see a certain engineer, then you will have to put that engineer forward. Now, there are 2 appointments for the GasSafe inspector to come out and see people. There is one in the morning and one in the afternoon, and I got the morning slot. So that means the inspector was turning up today at 9:30 sharp, which he actually did. But on today's Tuesday, I think it was Wednesday last week, the inspector phoned me and said, you've not forgotten about Tuesday next week, have you? So he kind of reminded me that I had an inspection, not that I needed reminding, but they do get in contact with you the week before or a few days before, and they tell you what time they're coming, but they've already sent that in the email anyway. Now, he met me at the office because that was the pre-arranged location, but you can actually meet them on site. And he introduced himself as he came up and showed me his ID. Now, you are expected then to introduce yourself and show your GasSafe card so he knows he's got the right person. Now then, we went and sat down and had a brew, and he kind of interviewed me. He asked me questions about how I got into the industry, how long I've been in the industry, what jobs I've done, my qualifications, and then he asked me questions about what I'm qualified for. So the first part of the inspection will be the inspector asking you questions on what you are competent at working on, so what you're qualified for. So if you've got LPG and residential park homes, he'll be asking you questions on those. If you've got cookers, fires and boilers on natural gas, he'll be asking you questions on that also. Once he's asked you the questions and he gets a feel of your knowledge, then it's about going on site then and carrying out actual gas work. Now, what if you don't know any of the questions he's asking you? Well, you can have reference material with you because they're not closed book questions, they're open book. He will expect you to have some kind of reference material anyway. Now, on my smartphone, I have the Vipergas app, so I can use that for referencing any material if there's something I don't know. And also, you will be expected to be able to reference IGEM G11, the Unsafe Situations Procedure. Now, I have that downloaded on my phone because you go onto the IGEM website and you can download it for free and it gives you the updates all the time. Or you could actually print it off, but because of the changes all the time, I just keep a digital version of it. If my phone's not working, then possibly I could need a downloaded version of it. So up to you whether you keep a paper copy or you've got some way of referencing any unsafe situations. What other paperwork does he need to see then? Well, he will need to see paperwork from the last 6 years, because engineers have to keep all their paperwork for 6 years. So he'll want to see your landlord's reports, copies, he'll want you to see your unsafe situations procedure, or your installs, your servicing. All that paperwork will need to be shown at your interview right at the very beginning. Now, what other documents do we need? Now, I keep this little folder with all the stuff that I need for when I'm on site. So you'll need your stickers, or I have both. I have cards and stickers for your warning stickers. I then have my warning notice for uncommissioned appliances. I've then got stickers for, which ones are these for? Keep your compartment door closed stickers. So you'll need those. These stickers are, what are these ones? In the event of emergency and or escape of gas. So these are your stickers what go on the front of your gas meter. And then you will need these stickers, which are your earth bonding notice. So if you go to a gas meter with no earth bonding, then you'll need obviously a sticker for the customer or a sign. And then what else have we got in here? It's my warning notice pad, so you'll need that as well. And obviously then you've got your service record and everything else, but I don't keep them in this little pack. So now the inspector's happy with what he's heard and what he's seen, you will then go to your first property. So you'll give the inspector the address and the postcode, and he will meet you there, or she will meet you there. Have you got any female gas inspectors? I don't know, I've never come across one, but maybe they have, maybe they haven't. Anyway, I digress. So you'll then meet on site, and then he'll want to see you carrying out some work depending on what's on the property and what you are actually qualified to work on. So the house I went to had a cooker, fire and a boiler. Now before we actually started any work, he wanted to see all my tools and equipment in the van. So you've got to make sure you've got your flue gas analyzer, and you've also got to make sure the analyzer is in calibration. He also wanted to see sundries like leak detection fluid, because obviously you're going to be needing that for testing the test nipples. And I carry things like gas sniffers and my little wearer set for getting on the test nipples, and I carry a spare digital manometer, and the analyzer I've got is also a digital manometer, and I've also got one of those little TPI digital manometers. So there's loads of stuff in there. All the standard stuff you carry as being a plumber and a gas engineer, he will want to see them. Other specialist equipment and sundries you're going to require are a stopwatch, a tape measure, various caps, meter discs and plugs for sizes of gas pipe that you're going to be capping off, jointing compounds such as PTFE and gas paste, flue jointing compound. You're going to need 2 sets of temporary continuity bonds. What about smoke matches and smoke pellets, as well as the leak detection fluid? So once he was happy with all the tools and equipment I've got, we then got cracking. So the first thing I did was visual inspection, like you should do. And then the next thing I did was went round to all the appliances with my non-contact voltage indicator. Just make sure they go lower than 50 volts. After I did that, got a tightness test on. Now, just carried out a tightness test. And on my tightness test results, it basically says it's dropped 0.07 millibars, so nothing. And then I did a purge, and I did my standing pressure, and he wanted to see working pressure at the meter as well with the boiler. We then did a visual on the cooker, and we did a visual on the fire, and we also went into the loft. So make sure you've got access to get into the loft if there's a fire there. Then after we did that, it was working on the boiler, so gas rating, inlet pressures, flue gas analysing, flue integrity testing, sweep testing. We checked all the safety devices, all the standard stuff they'd expect to see when you're working on a boiler. After that, he asked me a few more questions, and then it was time to go. So he got to me at 9:30, and he left at 1:45. So now the inspection is over, what happens next? Well, basically, the inspector will give you feedback on how you did. Now, if you've been amazing, he'll tell you you're amazing. If you've been rubbish, You might have to go back for training, or the inspector might ask you to do more revision with your training manual, or if you've left a serious problem, then they could actually suspend you from the gas safe register before you've even started. But at the end of the assessment, the inspector will tell you what you've done, how you've done, and what your next steps are. So that was pretty much what happened from the day. Now, the inspector was brilliant. He was dead easy to talk to. He wasn't an ass, he wasn't pompous, he didn't look down on me, he treated me like any other engineer would treat me. And we had some really good conversations about our industry. So don't be afraid of your inspector, because at the end of the day, the gas engineer is just like us. Anyway, I can't think of anything else, so hopefully you've liked this video, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers!